We just learned we are most likely getting a Shield reunion. Yes, a full Shield reunion. Dean Ambrose doesn't exist. We made him up. But of course, Seth Rollins rejected the offer to be the 5th man right away. Now, Rollins is trying to act like Roman is the bad guy in their story, but Seth, brother, aren't you forgetting something? You know that time you turned on your Shield brothers Roman Reigns and Kurt Angle? He's not joining Solo, that's for sure. But I honestly didn't expect that twist. Since Seth Rollins is feuding with Bronson Reed, I didn't even think about the possibility of Seth Rollins actually being the 5th man for the OG bloodline. My money was really on Cody. And that was a pretty eventful episode of Raw that again made all of these stories even more interesting. I mean, dude, Karrion Kross is gaining aura right now. And yes, people, I know that every time I say Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw, it always sounds like the reboot of Nitro is coming. But people, like this video, subscribe if you already didn't, and let's jump into this episode of Monday Night Raw. Gunther kicks off the show and says he's looking towards the future, and he has a lot to say about his challenger Damian Priest. Damian Priest interrupts him right away and says, "Talk about me to my face." Gunther was about to say something about Damian, but Damian cuts him off and says, "Yeah, you're gonna say I'm street trash, I'm this and that," while you were waiting for your phone call and that opportunity. Damian talked about their past match and said the only reason he lost is because of Finn Balor. Ever since you won that title, your vibe started to fade because you started doubting yourself. When you got pinned by Cody, that vibe faded even more. Gunther gets angry, but Damian wasn't done spitting. He says, "You have doubt and you know you can't beat me. If that killer was still in here, you would've took a swing at me right about now. Take your shot. I know you won't, because if you did, I'd drop your ass." Okay, now. Damian is spitting. Look. Controversial take or not, I don't know. Not real excited about the match. Like I've said, we already seen it. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. It's just too predictable. Too predictable, especially since it's Survivor Series. It's a big pay-per-view, big 5, right? So you kinda expect something bigger. This, unfortunately, does not feel big, even though I love Gunther, I love Damian Priest. But this promo, this was good. This was definitely good for Damian Priest, and I'm interested in the story they're trying to tell with Gunther, because eventually the dude is gonna snap. Gunther is gonna snap, and oh boy. Ludwig and his turtleneck interrupts. He can't believe Damian is doubting the He hyped up Gunther, and Gunther cut him off. But Ludwig says, "I'm not gonna let that street trash talk to you like that." And of course, Damian Priest beats his ass. Damian was looking for a fight against Gunther, but Gunther just left the ring, again looking full of doubt. Obviously, that must hurt his confidence. He just lost against Cody, and he took it like a man. You know, we saw it last week. But I believe that's the story they're trying to tell. Gunther is full of doubt, but that killer, he's gonna come back. And hopefully it's not gonna be a squash match against Damian, because that's kinda possible. Nah, not in this era, man. But that's typically what happens in these kind of stories. I believe we're seeing a dominant champion full of doubt, but eventually he's gonna snap. Dakota Kai is back and says we're here to remind everybody what Damage CTRL is capable of, and called out the Pure Fusion Collective. So we got Damage Control versus Pure Fusion Collective. Oh my god, this is a terrible name, which was quite fun, and we actually got a lot of wrestling during the show, so I'm kinda surprised how much you can fit into a 2-hour format. That's also something I wanna mention. Did you guys actually feel like there was something missing? I don't think so. This show didn't need to drag. It didn't. We got everything we needed. What's the point of going back 3 hours, man? What's the point? So this was a pretty decent match, and of course Damage Control won because they're building Io Sky, and it again seems like Damage Control is gaining momentum, because for the past, like, I would say 7 months, they were just kinda there. But now Io Sky is being built for a World Championship opportunity, and hopefully she's gonna win the championship at one point, because now I'm really excited about Rhea versus Io, even though I didn't care before. I didn't see the vision. But Pure Fusion Collective? Ah man, it's not gonna work, I'm sorry. Kofi Kingston thanked R-Truth for the help and apologizes for not helping him because, well, Woods didn't want to help. Xavier Woods heard that and asked, "What were you talking about?" P. Dunne interrupts and he's mad at Truth for calling him the wrong name all the time. Kofi tried to defend Truth, but Xavier doesn't want any problems, but Kofi still challenged Pete Dunne. Good luck with Pete. It's Butch you need to worry about. Finally, WWE are building this new day rivalry again. We got a little break, but yeah, I mean, I'm just talking out of my ass. It makes sense. It makes sense. Ups and downs, and now we got a big down. Eventually, we're going to get that, I believe, New Day celebration, 10-year anniversary. And that's when he's gonna turn. So we got Kofi versus Pete Dunne, right? Pretty exciting match. I don't know if I ever said that, but I really like Kofi's style. He's just so smooth and fun to watch. Now Xavier takes out Pete Dunne, but Kofi didn't appreciate Xavier getting involved. Kofi is a good man. He's a nice man. He doesn't want the smoke. He's all about fair competition. And why all of a sudden I started talking like Gunther or even Vladimir Kozlov? I love double E. Anyway, back to the match. Kofi's focus wasn't in the right place after that, and he lost the match. Xavier says, I told you so, and Kofi pushed him. Xavier says, you're way too focused on everybody else. What about us? You know, it's really hard to tell who's right and wrong in this situation because honestly, they're both right. Xavier is being a dick, but at the end of the day, he's all about the team. He's all about Kofi and himself. He wants these opportunities, and he realizes that for the past few years, they've been just kinda there. And he wants to get to that next level again, and he can't because he feels like Kofi is not focusing on the team and he's focusing on everybody else, and they're just wasting time instead of chasing these opportunities again and gaining back that momentum. So it makes sense for Xavier to be, you know, mad at Kofi. But again, Kofi is the closest thing to Rey Mysterio. You know, a guy you can't see as a heel anymore. We see the OG bloodline backstage. Jay and Sami did the handshake, but Jimmy and Sami still have problems communicating. But Sami says, Jimmy, you look nice. I like your chain. Jimmy says, you look... You see, that's what I'm talking about. Oh man, we're back in the good old days. Which is 2 years ago, probably, but still, we're back in the good old days, man. Jimmy says, look, we need a 5th member. And Sami says, I might know someone. I was still thinking about Cody, man. I mean, Kevin Owens ain't gonna join, but I was still thinking about Cody. We got the Judgment Day backstage segment where Finn Balor is mad at Dominic over Damian Priest winning the #1 contenders match. Didn't you say you're gonna beat Damian? Dom says, I got to the world title closer than you did in a long time. Don't get upset, I did something you couldn't. Finn says, you wanna say that again? A lot of heat in this room, but the Judgment Day try to calm them down. Eventually, Finn says, okay, the Judgment Day is all about family, so why don't you as a family, you and Carlito face War Raiders next week instead of us? They accepted, but Carlito, of course, didn't want to do that. Carlito is just chilling, man. He's just here to chill on Monday Night Raw. Eat apples. Oh, he loves apples. He does love apples. But Carlito loves apples. Bronson Reed comes to the ring. He compliments Seth Rollins saying, you're a great competitor. But I'm not a competitor. I'm a monster. Don't get him twisted, by the way. Bronson Reed is a monster. Braun Strowman is also a monster. One of them, not gonna say which one, really loves the trains. Fucking loves trains. I will take everybody who stands in the way of putting you down for good. He calls out Rollins. Rollins runs to the ring. We got a brawl, but Reed takes him down. The brawl continues. We got a bunch of security. You know, it was a typical Bronson Reed is wilding segment. Eventually, Seth Rollins told Adam Pearce, I need another match. And Adam Pearce is just angry at this point. He is pissed. He's done with this. So he gives him the match and says, just end it already. You know, I appreciate how much Adam Pearce actually cares about these competitors, about their health. What a nice general manager. For a man with such large ballsack, really, I would like to compliment him, you know, what a great human being. You know, I still believe Bronson Reed should have won. I still believe he should have won. And I'm not sure if he will this time around. You know, I guess it works. You know, he loses the match, but he's still on top. He still beats his opponent, and he's still standing. Sometimes you just gotta do it the old-fashioned way. A victory is a victory, you know. Sami comes up to Seth Rollins and asks him to be the 5th guy. I know you're in Roman's history, I do, but the only reason I'm back is because that family bond never goes away. I know deep down you and Roman are still brothers. There's nobody else. You're the 5th man. I looked at the roster. I think you're out of your damn mind. After everything I did to take Roman down, you want me to build him back up? I know better than anyone who Roman Reigns really is. I'm shocked anyone would stand next to him, especially you. You gotta be blind. He's using you, and the answer is no. He didn't give any hope. Any hope whatsoever. You wanna be? No. Well, maybe because Roman... No. Well, because Roman, the Shield, you're out of your damn mind. No room whatsoever. But it's wrestling. We all know eventually it's gonna happen because... I believe what will end up happening is Solo, again, doing something to Seth Rollins, and eventually he just has to join Roman Reigns, because I don't see any other reason. Why would he join them? But out of the whole roster. I mean, they talked to Rey Mysterio, they talked to Braun Breaker. There's nothing more exciting than Seth Rollins being in that team. I don't see any other scenario. This is gonna happen. And I'm actually very excited about that. It makes this match even more interesting. Seeing Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins interacting, even though they have such recent history, and especially seeing the segments. I can't wait to see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins face to face now that they're both baby faces. Well, for the most part. That's gonna be really, really interesting. We got Ludwig versus Damian Priest. Typical, I'm challenging the World Heavyweight Champion and I'm gonna beat his goon's ass. That's exactly what happened. He beat Ludwig Kaiser. Nothing really special right here. The match was okay. Again, this does not feel like a Survivor Series match. There's a Sheamus versus Braun Breaker rivalry over a Speed Championship. Braun says, Speed title interests me. Why? What the fuck? No, it does not. You're lying. You're lying, piece of shit. People, we are getting Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship next week. Now, we are not getting a title change, but eventually, I believe Sheamus should be the one to take Braun Breaker down for that title, because Sheamus never held that championship, and he had so many opportunities against Gunther, but he just never could win that title. And that is, at this point, the biggest thing Sheamus could do in the WWE, the biggest thing that would get the fans excited, and probably even Sheamus. I mean, he never held that championship. Can't wait. The match itself is gonna be amazing. I mean, dude, every Sheamus match is great. Mad respect for Sheamus, by the way. Unless he's the one who asked for a theme song change, then we might need to have a conversation. Other than that, real excited about the match. Very predictable result. The Miz told Karrion Kross he's done. He's gonna ask Adam Pearce for a break. He doesn't want to do anything with the Wyatts. But Karrion Kross says, you're not done. You didn't give us any information. Where are they? The Miz says, I'm done with this, and I even apologized and they let me go. And honestly, I'm a better man. Karrion, you need to move on. Karrion obviously wouldn't listen. Remember that time I said I'm gonna break your legs? Boys, grab him. Okay, that was hilarious. That... I love Karrion now, man. He's the best. That was such a that was such a great segment. Boys, grab him. Like a mafia boss. Love it. So they dragged him to the ring. Karrion Kross says, you're lying to me. Tell me, where are the Wyatts? Lights go out. We see the Wyatts and Final Testament face to face. And the Miz swings a chair at Eric Rowan. So it was all a part of a setup. I mean, they take down the Wyatt Sicks. They're on top. The Miz is walking with Karrion Kross with confidence. Okay. This kind of ruins something, because Karrion Kross treating the Miz that way, that was a great segment. And if that was all a part of a setup, maybe that kind of ruins it a little bit. Because, man, this man had aura in that backstage segment. You know, dragging him to the ring, the Miz on his knees. Karrion had aura. So, this being a setup, kind of a little bit ruins it in my opinion. So I'ma need to see Karrion Kross treating other wrestlers that way from now on. Boys, grab him. Break his leg, break his arm, break his dick. Seth Rollins was asked about Bronson, but he sees the bloodline. Now Solo asked Rollins to join him as the fifth man. Rollins says, the next time I'm in the ring with Roman Reigns, I'll stomp his head. I'll never team with Roman Reigns. But I will never join forces with a wannabe Roman Reigns. And boy, Rollins versus Jacob Fatu would absolutely slap. Okay, that was another great line. Wannabe Roman Reigns. That's exactly who he is. But I like Solo, by the way. Don't get it twisted. I love you, Solo! Solo, I love you, my Trouble G. I love that meme, by the way. Solo asking Seth Rollins to be the fifth man basically confirms it. He is gonna be in that match. Because they talked to a bunch of people, but they mostly focused on Seth Rollins, and I wouldn't think they would waste our time like that, right? The main event was the Women's Tag Team Championship match, Jade and Bianca versus Raquel and Liv. So, Tiffany and Nia interfered, and Nia took out Jade when the referee was distracted. The Judgment Day still couldn't get the job done though. We got another distraction, but Naomi takes down both Tiffany and Nia before getting dropped by Liv Morgan. Jade and Bianca retained the Tag Team Championships, and Liv was the one who ate the pin. Nia Jax attacks them after the W and dominates the ring until we got Io Sky, so the show ends with the babyfaces standing tall. Again, Io is the #1 contender, so they're building Io, and I think they did a decent job. Now, Liv eating the pin? That's pretty interesting. I guess they're trying to protect Raquel and their heels. I guess it makes sense. Unfortunately, I am yet to see people who are actually excited about this, you know, this partnership, or Rodriguez being in this faction or with Liv. She's not in the, I don't know if she's in the Judgment Day. That doesn't matter. I'm just wondering if Io is gonna win that championship. From the looks of it, she's not. So maybe they're doing this match a bit too early. But people, that was your episode of Raw. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe if you already didn't, and check out more of my videos. I would appreciate that. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.